All right, let's go ahead and get started. Guys, go ahead and give me a sound check. Let me know if you can hear me, and we'll just jump right into it. So let me see here. Clean up some of these charts. Hopefully everyone's having a good start to the weekend, and we'll just dig into what charts you guys want me to look at. So starting off with triple Qs, this is SPY. I guess I had that up. SPY's got a bearish rising wedge. It's pretty clean and clear. Look, even on Friday, as you zoom in, see we got right up to the top of that wedge, and the seller started to pull, come in a little bit. Nothing crazy, but in general, we've got a bearish rising wedge. So it should break soon. I mean, we really are at the apex of the wedge. It can go maybe a few more days, but in general, it should break soon. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for, is just kind of waiting for the break of that wedge. The widest part of the wedge is you take the widest part, measure that out. That'll give you your major target. So let's say we break next week sometime. I mean, that's the target right now. It's about 536-ish, somewhere right in there. Looks to be the target, and yeah, that's really it for that one. Now, sometimes these wedges, they'll break them to the upside. You get like a little blow off top, and they'll break them to the upside. That's typically a big stop raid, and you'll just you'll run anybody who's short out of there, and then it'll break to the downside. So what I'm doing though, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the sell signal. We don't have that yet, so no reason to jump the gun short on that one. But with the bearish rising wedge, you've got negative divergence. You can see, look, there's your former high. Here's a new high, and it's less momentum. So you got everything. It's a very clean bearish setup. We just need to wait for a break of support. All right, and that would be, this trend line right there. So that is it on that one. Triple Qs. I thought the triple Qs would hold resistance. Where was I looking at? Right about there, 478. It did break above that. No, actually, I apologize. I moved my trend line. I had it at this right there. Oh. And it broke above that, and it's now above that now. So I got rid of that one. What I see now, and you can see I'm kind of was looking for a bearish rising wedge as well to kind of match up with that SPY, but we just don't have a super well-defined one yet. So I think it's forming, but it could form for a little while. And so there's that potential to be forming a bearish rising wedge. But the SPY is well formed. So if the SPY starts to break down, I just don't think you're going to get enough of time to form a bearish rising wedge in triple Qs. Maybe, maybe not. What it could do, let's say we get that blow off top in the SPY, then triple Qs is probably going to spike up and make a slightly new high, maybe up here around 505-ish. And then and then maybe you've got the wedge that's formed. So that's a possibility. And here's your all-time highs right there. It's about 502.50. Bearish rising wedge, or a bearish engulfing candle has marked that high. So once you saw that bearish engulfing candle, if you shorted that, you were profitable. So maybe they're going to come take that out now. We're so close that I could easily see that happening, popping up, making a slightly new high. If it happens anytime soon, it's going to be divergence. All right, you're going to run up, make a slightly new high in price. Momentum will not make a new high. You're going to have negative divergence, and then that likely will usher in a wave of selling. So the way I view it, and just so you guys kind of know, Again, you know, you could short that bearish engulfing candle, but then we did fall down. All right, if you guys remember, go back and watch my video or look at my, if you're in the private member group, we covered our shorts right there on August 5th. Okay, so then you could, you know, we covered there because you're at support. All right, if I roll out, that's support. So, you know, I don't want to short. I want to cover my short, take profit. All right, and you could have flipped long. Yeah, I think, you know, I did flip long here, caught a little bit of the bounce. And then in general, okay, look, there's another bearish engulfing. You could short that. See that bearish engulfing? Could short that. Boom, shut right down to support. Cover your short. Okay, roll up. Now there's no reason now to really be short. At least not a major reason. You do have the potential kind of gap right here. So, you know, that's kind of the gap, and you can see it held as resistance once, and they're kind of testing that for the last 3 days. Not a clear rejection though, so I'm not confident that it's just that's gonna hold as resistance. It is resistance right now, but I'm not super confident. You've got strong support right down there on that trend line, little trend line there, and then really, really strong support on the major trend line down here. All right. This line, I was just looking at a major target. That's nothing. So you've got support underneath, small, you know, some resistance right there, and then really above that, you just have the all-time highs. You get to the all-time highs, they're very likely going to pop them. All right. What happens is you pop the all-time highs, you're going to rally a bunch of bulls. They're going to be foaming at the mouth bullish, thinking the market goes on forever. Typically what we're seeing is we run up, make slightly new highs, divergent highs, and then you get a big sell-off. So risk reward, it's not favorable from my perspective to be entering longs. If you're long, you can trail stops and stay long. But the long, the entry was down here or here. Those are our entries. And really I'm more looking for a potential exit or a short entry at this point. But we just don't have anything, so kind of a wait and see market right now. Moving on, let me look at what Nvidia's. You know, that's kind of the major player from my perspective when it comes to momentum. I've got a pretty messy chart from last week, but this is support. If I roll out, okay, that's support on the daily. That trend line. We have lots of reactions there, so it's really well defined. You can see there's another tag of it. The buyer stepped in a little early, but in general, you know, they held that support, rallied it up. You've got the all-time high here with that bearish engulfing, so that might hold, but we're so close now that, you know, I could see it pop. It's just not super strong resistance. You've got one reaction being the all-time high, so you know, it's not a short, right? I don't want to be short this thing right now. Now, if they pop it, let's say they pop it and we put in some sort of a divergence, then most likely I'll start looking at a trend line like this, and then we'll look for a break of that trend for the sell signal, and then a move back down to the major support. Okay, that's the trade setup I'm looking for on that, but, you know, until we get it, who knows? And then ultimately a break of the trend line, that's a big sell signal. So that's what I'm looking for on Nvidia. Again, wait and see on that one. Tesla worked out well. I put that one out in the private member group, not yesterday, but the day before. And here's what I was looking at, just to kind of break it down, give you guys kind of a run through of it. On Tesla, bigger picture on the daily chart, it's in a downtrend. All right, you can see there's the all-time highs. There's one reaction. There's two, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 5 clean reactions of this bear market. Tesla is in a bear market. All right, from the all-time highs, it's down as of right now. I mean, it's obviously down 50%, but with that reaction right there, it was down 37%, and it continues to trend lower. I don't see any signs that the trend is reversed. You know, the trend is down. All right, I'm there's the trend line. So and then so you go down to the shorter thing and you look at, there's your run up right into that major resistance, tested it for a few days, kind of popped it intraday, run some stops, fake people out, making them think, oh, there's a breakout. There was no volume behind it, and in general, just that's where you want to short. All right, you want to short at resistance. And then we also had this trend line right here to watch. All right, and this is what I was talking about for NVIDIA. What I'd be, if we're going to run up and make a new divergent high, I'll start looking for something like this, where we have this uptrend line, and then a break of that would be a sell signal. And we got the break of it on Thursday. Okay, there's the hourly chart, and this is what I saw. I said, okay, we've broke. They tried to, it had a pretty definitive break on the hourly, but the bulls stepped in. They tried to recover it. It back tested, but ultimately was rejected by the end of the day and was not able to recover that. And that's a break of support. So I posted that towards the end of the day on Thursday. I was watching it all day because I saw the initial break here, but then I did see the bulls starting to step in, so I really wanted to, sometimes what I'll do is when I see these breaks, I'll post them, but you have to understand that the hour candle hasn't closed, so I post it right away, but if the bulls step in within that hour and they recover it, then it's not a sell signal, so you have to be on watch for that. I try to give you guys, a clue, like, here, watch this, it could trigger right now, and yeah, that's what we got. So then obviously Friday they had a big flop. I mean, guys, Tesla is a hype stock, all right? It's an auto company that's been pumped by speculative mania, all right? Mostly starting back during COVID, I guess. They make electric cars, and they talk about all these other things, electric semis and roofs, electric roofs, and self-driving and robots and you name it. They talk about these things, but that's just the marketing spin. But in general, they make cars. So price them like a car company, and it's probably fine, but they're not it's not priced like a car company. So we need to probably see this thing come in some more. So I'm looking for a continued downward trend in Tesla. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think we're heading, honestly, since we hit that support. Okay, I think we're gonna go back down there, break that, and probably hit this one here, this 63-ish area. And, I don't know. That might be it. It's hard to say. There's another level down here, but yeah. It's gonna take years for that to happen. All right. That's mostly what was going on with the large cap techs. I didn't see anything else that was really, interesting. So let's move on to your guys' stuff. Guys, drop me a thumbs up too if you're finding value in the content. I do appreciate it. All right, so we'll start from the top. I'll just work my way through the list. We'll wrap up and everybody can enjoy their weekend. We've got Corsair Gaming, CRSR. Never looked at this stock. Kind of a junk stock, $6, so probably doesn't have a lot of history. Came public during, 2020, so kind of the COVID pump. There was a lot of companies that saw that there was just lots of cash around there, and they IPO'd during COVID to capture that, and it was, and doesn't mean they were valued. They were way overvalued, and on this one, so there's a downtrend roughly in there. Could probably tighten it up if you narrow it down to the hourly chart, but in general, it's there. You had this little that kind of thing, but only you had one reaction, two, you kind of a third reaction because you got the gap. I'll leave it, but Let me see what we got going down in this thing. So this is probably what this person sees is there's some bullish divergence. That's a divergent low. All right, so there you got a low, you got a equal low, momentum's moving up. That's a divergent low. And then there's this other downtrend line here. I think okay, it's a buy setup. It's definitely a long setup. I'd probably look at something like, let me tighten that up. Right there. A breakout above 725 would be an hourly close, and especially a daily close would be a buy signal, and I think you probably will push. I don't want that. I think you're going to fill these gaps, right? I think you probably run up and like fill that gap. Man, not working for me. I think you fill that gap and hit that downtrend line resistance, 971. So 30% push up. But again, you need that buy signal. We might not get it. It might come well in the future. You might sell off and make a new divergent low. So I would you got to have that breakout buy signal. That's what I got on that. And look for volume too. And also make sure there's no negative divergence on a breakout. Okay, so I covered NVIDIA, FTNT. Is that Fortnite? What is that? Sounds like Fortinet. That's a firewall thingy or whatever they do. There's server clusters. This one, let me look. Okay. So this one, you've got the all-time high there, and they're seeing that breakout, there. It's a divergent high, though. I think it fails. I'd have to... I think it fails unless the divergence gets burned through. If this keeps running and you burn through the divergence, then yeah, it's probably the real deal, and you can look to buy the dip. But as of right now, you're making a new high in price, but momentum is not there. There's no volume behind it either. See the volume? There's no breakout volume. So you don't have institutional participation saying, hey, this is, we believe in this thing going higher. This is just retail trickle. To me, it looks like a divergent high breakout that's going to fail. So I just wait for the failure. Wait for a push back below that former high, about 81.18, and that would be a sell signal. And then if you get that, to me, it looks kind of range bound. I think you're going to come down and maybe fill this gap or something. So it's this is a short setup. It's just not actionable quite yet. So I'm going to add it to my short list. Yeah, it's already on there apparently. That's weird. I haven't seen that one in there, but I'll keep an eye on it. Palantir. Nah. Looks bullish to me in general. There was a potential bearish rising wedge, but only potential. I only had it wasn't the cleanest chart. I don't know. Maybe it's that. That's not even a channel, but what I'm looking at really is the momentum. If I go back and look at how I had the line there, you can see we had negative divergence, but boom, burned through. All right. So you've got there is some momentum there, and even on the PPO, you've got bullish momentum, and then it did break out. It looks, it started to break here, but look at that volume spike right there. Okay, so Yeah, I mean, this is. I would not short this thing. I don't see a short here. I mean, it could come down, but it looks bullish to me. And then, I mean, there's probably, let me look at some resistance. Yeah, see, we're kind of breaking out above those highs. There's the all-time highs there. So, man, I am having the hardest time with trying to draw trend lines, and I got to get my thing smaller. Yeah, the all-time highs are up there. And we're, you're basically at them. You're probably going to pop them just slightly. I don't know. I wouldn't be putting new money to work at the all-time highs, but I also don't see divergence, so there's no reason to short this thing. All right, CCL, Carnival. So this is travel. This, to me, also, you want to watch like MasterCard and Visa, because this is basically the kind of middle America, the middle class. They go on cruises and stuff, and then they also live on credit cards. So can't really make a clean trend line that not from the lows. Okay, so there's that looks like resistance there. And that is a breakout. It's a divergent high right now. It's a divergent breakout, not fully confirmed, but if you look at, let me zoom in on the RSI, you can see, there, and it's starting to turn down. So if that rolls over, that would be a confirmed divergent high, meaning it's a high probability that the breakout will fail. If this doesn't turn down and it just goes like that, you don't have divergence, and it's a breakout. See if there's any volume. There was some volume on the breakout. There's the breakout right there, that candlestick. There's some volume there for sure. So here's the thing. It is divergent high right now, but it's not really confirmed. You haven't really seen the momentum roll over, and you do have volume. So I would not be, it's not as great of a short setup just with the volume and the non-confirmation of divergence. So it could be an actual breakout. All right. And then if you break out, you're probably going to go to this reaction high up here. And that would probably be the trade, 31. That's what I have on that one. Mara, so that's a Bitcoin proxy. Basically, where Bitcoin goes, this thing will follow. I still don't understand Bitcoin. I mean, people are trading it, but it does nothing. It literally does nothing. I mean, it just is something for people to trade, I guess. All right, so you have, that looks like the trend line to me. You can see we got up here rejection, big red candle. Hit tested again, rejection. All right, so that's resistance. It's pretty well defined. I think this thing's going lower, to be honest. I don't see it could backtest again. So it's not really at resistance, and it's not really at support. So it's not objective to enter a trade. It's objective at resistance. I want to short it here. Or if it wants to do that, I want to short it there. But it's not at support either because you're below the major trend. So I don't want to be long. I'd rather just wait if it rallies, and that's a monster rally for sure, 40%. This thing moves big though, you know, so it's, for me, it's look for a short, but it's not objective to short. And that's all I see. URI, United Rentals. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of at all-time highs. This will trade with the SPY. It's probably gonna break down and roll over soon, but I just don't see enough in the charts. You're popping up right here, making new highs. It is lower momentum, but just barely. So there's just not enough in the chart on this one to tell me to short the thing. It's at all-time highs. At least I think it is. Yeah. So, just shorting at all-time highs, you're just kind of, there's nothing to trade against. It's not objective to short at all-time highs because you literally have no resistance overhead. But with that, back to the S&P 500 chart in this bearish rising wedge with negative divergence, when this breaks, or if it breaks, that URI is going to break too. So I just, watch the indices. Disney. So there's your divergent low. That's a divergent low. See momentum moving up, at least in the RSI. It wasn't there in the PPO though, actually. Clean this up. These are just projections, which that did work out. I did play out. This one, I don't know if I've got some reactions on it, but. So I see some horizontal resistance. I just extended that trend line that I had from the past. Lots of reactions there. We're kind of at it right now. Did break out there. It's not bad as a long. It's okay. I think this can, I don't know. It doesn't look like a great long, but it looks okay. The reason why I don't love it as long as I just don't have a whole lot of reactions on this trend line. I got 1, 2, and then, you did get a couple there, but nothing really from underneath. And no real clean breakout. There's some volume there, but so I don't know. Personally, I would pass, but I lean long. But with the S&P 500, looking how it looks, that's the hard thing. The SPY, the index, basically looks bearish. These are going to come down if the index sells off. All right. American Airlines. Can't really make a trend line. You've got the 200. You're below the 200. This thing kind of chops through the 200 though, so it's not necessarily like anything to really. I got this as major downtrend line resistance. This thing, American Airlines, has been hurting for a while. This is COVID. So if I just extend that out, I mean, as far as I can tell, it's in a long-term bear market. It's been in a bear market since 2018. And, you know, trending higher right now. If I had to guess on that one, I could continue to push higher. It's in a longer term down market, but you know, it kind of looks like it's just momentum's moving up and prices moving up, and it's kind of trending higher. I wouldn't, you know, you've got a gap to fill right there, so could kind of grind around and then fill the gap, maybe hit that area of resistance. It's not objective. You know, if you're long, I think you could stay long. There's no reason to short. It's not objective to short. It's not objective to go long with new money. I think it's just you could stay long, trail your stops. Snap. This one has a big history of gigantic gaps on earnings. So earnings is coming up. So that's my biggest thing is it's too much of a gamble. I just wouldn't touch it ahead of earnings, and that's coming up on the end of October. Got a couple weeks, but I mean, look at these big gaps. These are earnings. So there's just no reason to gamble because it can go up, it can go down, but it's going to be huge. So, or most likely huge, not always, but. Momentum's kind of moving up currently, so price probably can continue to move up. Maybe you fill this gap ahead of earnings. That's as far as I'd be willing to give that thing, you know. Right into the 200, fill the gap, right ahead of earnings. Take the money and run and see how the dust settles after earnings. All right, that's a pass for me, though, on that one. Okay, can I do a long-term chart of the Dow? QQQ and SPY to show me the MACD and RSI divergence. Well, I use PPO, but it's basically the same as MACD. But I kind of already did that. I mean, okay, long term, this is like the SPY. And if you want to really look at the S&P 500, I mean, look. You've got a momentum spike here. This is the weekly, right? So this is right ahead of COVID right there. See the momentum? I mean, really, momentum has been dropping over the years. You haven't really equated to the equal momentum for years now. But that's long-term stuff. But then if you zoom into kind of the most recent price action, I mean, look, you've got, this is a weekly chart. So see that momentum kind of dropping off. There it is on the PPO. So you're making new highs, but they're divergent highs, divergent high, divergent high. So it can continue. We can continue to make divergent highs, but as long as the divergence remains, it's telling you that each new divergent high is being made on less and less momentum, and you're very likely at some point in time going to see a big drop. And you just don't know when that is, right? So if you're just long and you're writing these divergent highs up, you think you're going to be able to get out when whatever breaks or there's a big sell signal. But kind of what ends up happening typically is there's a trap move. It gaps down and it starts trapping people into losses really quickly. And then you know, so they ride the moves down. So to me, right now, it's more objective if I'm going to try to make some money on it rather than just hope that this keeps going up based off of nothing, basically, just based off of it's at all-time highs, so it's going to obviously keep making all-time highs. You know, I use the charts to tell me, okay, the money to be made is really going to be on the down move. Now, yeah, if you just buy and hold and your timeline is 20 years, 10 years, whatever, yeah, you're probably going to see appreciation in your stock. Doesn't mean you're going to see appreciation in the dollar. I mean, as the dollar falls, stocks go up, but okay, so that's it really on that one. Uber spiked on the Tesla stuff because, you know, we're not all going to be riding around in Blade Runner taxis. Again, that's all hype. But so there's the Uber spike, you know, because they're saying, okay, people are going to continue to drive Ubers and Uber will continue to make money. So, yeah, it looks like a breakout to me. I mean, look, momentum, look at the momentum. Spike up on momentum. You've got strong momentum. I mean, now it's really overbought. So, you know, I think you probably, what I would really do is maybe not buy this unless you bought it right away when it broke out. You could buy the dip. That's probably what I'd be looking to do. Support, which was former resistance, is now support, 81.78. So momentum looks good. Volume, see the volume? Volume looks good. Price action looks good. Looks like a long to me. I'd be looking to buy the dip. The biggest thing that I would is just a little spooky on, you know, would be like the SPY and the tech, you know, the SPY. Not so much the tech stocks. They look okay, but the SPY. But without that, this looks like a breakout. So, I don't know. I might take a long at support, you know, if it wants to come back in a little bit. CMG. Is that Chipotle? Yeah. It's all right. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. FITB. So this is a short setup. I've been watching it. Has not triggered yet, but it's a very clean short setup as of right now. Bearish rising wedge. All right, this is very clean. I mean, look, you can just see how clean it is. Where my trend line's off a little bit. These stupid things move sometimes. So in general, we've got a bearish rising wedge, and we're at the apex of the wedge. This looks just like the SPY. We have negative divergence. See momentum dropping. And we just don't have a sell signal, so I don't know. They might want to do this. It looks like, you know, run up, hit resistance again. But it's, you know, should have a resolution to that one soon. So we're just waiting. Intel, or what's CH? Is that a healthcare stock? Celsius. That's the drinks. Which one is this? Is this the drinks? Yeah. I didn't realize they'd been around for so long. Bullish divergence. So again, this is why I talk about these divergence. It gives you the conditions that you're looking for to lean one way or the other. So when I would see this bullish divergence, I would tell you guys, hey, we've got a divergent low. This is a long setup, but it's not actionable till we get a breakout, and there's your breakout. And there's volume behind it. See the volume candle? That is a breakout. All right, that's a buy signal. This is a long. And it came in a little bit, so it could come in for a back test. You know, earnings are coming up, so they might kind of back test and even put in a new divergent low right ahead of earnings, and then maybe gap up on earnings. But in general, so that's possible. I'd be looking to go long on this one at support, which as of right now is this downtrend line. maybe you don't get there. You could take a starter long because there is a breakout. You know, you could buy on that breakout and then buy on back tests. But this is a long to me. And then you're probably going to push up to... Looks like we got some... I don't know. Maybe somewhere right up in this... There's, you know, a big cluster... Oh, man, give me the line. There's a kind of a cluster of trades right in that area, so a push up into there, and the two, you know, yeah, that's a buy signal. All right, I'm just gonna do a couple more, then we'll wrap up. Looks like I'm almost through the list. Intel. Yeah, still looks like a long. I mean, I put a chart out for the private member group, basically saying you could buy at that that former resistance, which is now support. You could buy there, and I was looking for a push up to... I mean, there's a gap to fill, so I like that potentially. Okay. There's also a downtrend line to look at way up here. So this could go like this. All right, that's the way I'd be leaning. Yeah. All right, snow. See, this was a trend line. You did. Let me see here. Let's see what these guys are trying to do. Well, I'd have to say that's a breakout. No volume behind it, though. That's the only thing. It's like, why is there no volume? You know, if you got some bullish divergence. You've got this downward channel. The only, you know, you do have kind of a violation there, but not a close. So, I don't know. I'm questioning that. I'm questioning my trend line is basically what I'm doing, just because why is there no volume? So I would, I don't know, give it a little, I don't know. Could take a shot at it, but if my trend line's off, then it's basically probably like near resistance. You might put in another divergent low. So I would personally, like for me, I'm not going to take a long on a breakout because I don't like that there's no volume behind it. So yeah, might need to develop a little bit more. Okay. Wolf. I think we've looked at this one the last few times I've done the live stream. We'll look at it again. So it's in a downtrend, obvious downtrend, longer term, but we're way over, you know, it's way oversold. You also have bullish divergence on the RSI. You did not have it on the PPO. You really never got it on the PPO on the daily. But you had it on the RSI. Looks like, you know, breakout backtest running. To me, it looks like it's moving up. Like, I would say, you know, you're at some resistance here. You have a little reaction low. So that maybe a little pullback there. But could continue higher. You know, it's I don't want to short this. It's way down here. I'd rather go long, and I'd look for a move up to the downtrend. And there's also some resistance. Oh. About there, which is 2150-ish, somewhere right in there. So, yeah, I'd kind of look for that. One more, and then I'm going to wrap up. So we got AFL, Sox, and BA. Boeing. I know there was some news about Boeing. Let me see if there's any price action. Bullish engulfing candle. No real divergences, so I don't know. That's not that amazing of a chart, to be honest. Sox is your semiconductors, which I don't think there's anything wrong with them right now. I mean, very much like the triple Qs, you've got some resistance here at 237.50. No real divergences. I mean, again, NVIDIA, like, I don't see anything really broken. There's no sell signals or really anything, so they look okay. The SPY looks bad. So what I would be looking for is like banks and stuff like that. Like maybe tech doesn't really want, maybe there is no short in tech right now because there's kind of like an ebb and flow thing that's been happening over the last 6 months where we're seeing rotation back and forth from like financials and just general SPY stocks, and then tech sells off, and then vice versa. Then it switches. So right now it looks like tech's okay. I don't see anything super damaging in tech, and then it looks like the SPY and those other things are going to come down. Let me look at the financials, XLF. Yeah, see, you're making divergence. There's your, oh man. If anybody knows how to like lock this stuff so I don't have to, I just don't spend a lot of time learning the trading view. I just use it for charting, and I don't, that's all I'm really here for. That's a divergent high. No real sell signals, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, this is the last one, AFL. I just did all three for you guys. Aflac. So insurance, very rate sensitive. Insurance companies, they put their money, they do put a lot of their premium money into bonds and stuff. Think of them like a big pension fund. That's kind of how they are. Uptrend, diverging, starting to diverge. This one's almost like gone parabolic, but see, look, there's some negative divergence. See the RSI and the PPO, both confirmed. So let me see here. Oh, let me grab the line tool. I don't love that trend line because you kind of, it's just, you muddled through it there. You broke above it, broke below. So I'm going to get rid of that. It's not clean enough. This is a reaction high and also held as support. So you've got divergence. I think your sell signal will come on a break of 111. We'll just call it 111. Solid definitive break, starting with the hourly chart, and obviously the daily will be a sell signal. And then if that happens, I can see kind of larger support, down in these areas, down at the 200 and stuff. This is almost a bearish engulfing, but it's not. So, but that's a big rejection candle, but it's not a bearish engulfing, so it can't trade against that as like a top. So you need to see breaks of resistance on that one, which we just don't have right now. So that's it. No sell signal. Okay, that's all I got. Hopefully you guys found some value, and I will catch you guys